Listening to the IFF TV podcast.
Hi, guys.
Howdy, Jim.
How's things?
All good yourself?
Yeah, not too bad.
So I suppose just to kind of start off, you've got Conor Noss and Dan Rose from the Bundesliga. You've called those both up, and then you've got Mipo, Odubeko, and Andrew Bamidele and Louis Watson. So it's a very exciting crop of players coming through there.
Yeah, very excited. I'm looking forward to working with them as the staff are too. You know, they're talented players. You know, Andrew Bamidele, you know, he's done exceptionally well at Norwich. He was in the first team for the spell, where he came on and made a brief appearance. But a lot of real mouth-watering talent there. Louis Watson has just, made a few appearances with Derby County too, and Wayne Rooney and Shay Given both have been, speaking exceptionally highly of him. You know, even off the match day pitch, so to speak, in training, he's been excellent, and that's always good to hear. So it's an exciting group. Looking forward to working with them, and the start of our campaign begins on Monday when the players come in. So we've got to hit the ground running.
Yeah, just on Mipo, obviously there was a lot of anticipation. Will he, won't he come in and all this type of stuff? But he's here now, and how much are you excited to actually get into, I suppose, showcase what he can do for Ireland now? Yeah,
Mipo, look, we're all aware of how talented he is, and I certainly am, because, I remember Mipo playing with St. Joseph's Boys, and I'll never forget, he played in an All-Ireland game against College Corinthians and up in Jackman Park in Wayside, and he scored a fantastic goal, and the way he celebrated, he was, so passionate about it, scoring a goal in a cup final, and that was the first time that he caught my eye. So, look, I know how talented he is. Looking forward to working with him, and we see what he can do. But again, at the end of the day, he's still a young lad. He's still a young lad with enormous potential. So it's about us, the coaching staff, working with that potential going forward.
Just lastly, Shane Flynn, he obviously extended his deal, got a new deal with Leicester this week. It got called up by yourself. It's been a very good week for him. He's been in the Europa League squad a couple of times and the Premier League squad, albeit not making an appearance. But how impressed have you been by him? Yeah,
he's been doing well with Leicester. Look, we get to see all the 23s games via our huddle accounts. We've developed relationships with the club's analysts, and they'll send us over the games. So he's done really well, albeit he's playing in a left back, left wing back type of role. I remember him. He came in with the Irish under-18 set up as a wide left, and he done, very well for us then. So as somebody that I've always had good hopes for, and I think that's been endorsed by Brendan Rodgers offering him a new contract, which I was delighted for him, because he's a fantastic kid, and football means everything to him. He loves football, and he's an excellent professional. He really is. So delighted to be working with Shane again now in this up and coming camp.
Well, that's it for me. Thanks very much. Best of luck. I'll be watching.
Thanks a million. Thank you.
Paul Fantasy, if you'd like to go next.
Yep. Hi, Jim. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, Paul, how are you?
Not too bad, thanks. First of all, can I ask you about the goalkeeping situation? Obviously, losing Bazunu, maybe he's a player you ideally would have liked to have, but I'd imagine at the same time you're proud that he's got called up to the seniors. Is he someone you think could still play a part in the campaign, given, like, you'd imagine Darren Randolph will come back in at some stage, and therefore you might get to use him with the 21s?
Yeah. The thing is with Gavin, he's such a talented goalkeeper. He really is, that you've always got to expect that if there's any injury issues or suspension issues with the senior team, that Gavin will get the call up. And you know, I sort of half expected it with Darren Randolph now being injured the last couple of weeks. So I'm delighted. You know, I got in touch with Gavin to say, you know, I'm very proud of you, and it's well deserved. And the thing is, it's really Stephen's call after that, because again, if he goes in and let's say he does play in one of the games the next window and does unbelievably well, which I've no doubt he will, and Stephen keeps him, and the bigger picture here is about, you know, developing Gavin to become the best goalkeeper he can. And if that's staying with the senior team, the first team, fantastic. If it means coming back to the 21s and playing in some big European games and to help us qualify for the European Championship, so be it.
Sure. And you've obviously worked with both himself and Caoimhín Kelleher in the past, and it looks like it's probably going to be one of those two to play against Serbia. Are you confident that both are sort of ready to make that big step up?
Yeah, they certainly won't let you down. But like Mark Travers is there too, you know. So, and look, I don't know who Stephen is going to pick. Just, you know, I know Caoimhín has a little bit of an issue at the minute, but you know, I'd imagine, you know, he might be okay. And then after that, it's who's doing well, and I think they've only got 2 training sessions before the game. So, look, I don't think anybody let them down. I think Caoimhín is in a really good place, the way he's performed with Liverpool, and he's getting closer to a starting berth at Liverpool Football Club, and he's an immense talent. He really is. And look, I hope he's okay for the game, and he can kick on his international career too, because Caoimhín, like Gavin, you know, great pros, and it's a position that we're quite strong with regards to the senior team. That's for sure.
Yeah. And can I ask you as well about Louis Watson? Like, he's obviously made a couple of first team appearances for Derby. Have you watched much of him and been impressed? Yeah,
I've watched all his games with Derby. You know, I've got access to all their games, so I've been doing nothing but looking at games on Wisecout, and I've seen Louis playing. He's, you know, look, he's an energetic player. Loves getting on the ball. Really good passing ability, short and long range. And look, I'm really looking forward to working with him. And you know, he's a talent. He certainly is. And it's important that we coach the potential here in the player, you know, and it's a real opportunity for him coming into the Irish under-21s. You know, he's and he's somebody that I think will play a big part in us going forward.
Yeah. And I read that he played kind of previously before he joined the Irish setup with England at underage level. Are you, I suppose, confident that he's someone who will be here for the long haul? Because we've obviously been disappointed in the past with players sort of switching allegiances and whatnot.
Yeah, I am. And why? Because I do think now our Irish pathway is to the senior team. It's as strong as ever, you know. And I think you've got the likes of Jason Knight, Jason Malumbi, and Caoimhín that we spoke about now. Most recent, Gavin Mizuno is, you know, it's there for everybody to see that, you know, there is an opportunity if you're playing well at club level or you come into 21s and you perform well, that there's every opportunity of a senior call-up. Yeah.
And I suppose on a related note, last time you spoke to us about John Joe, Patrick Finn, has there been any kind of update as regards that?
Yeah, John Joe, I've been speaking to John Joe and his mom numerous times now, and he certainly wants to play for the Republic of Ireland, you know. Unfortunately, he picked up an injury a couple of days ago and he's out for, I think, 10 or 12 days. So a little bit of a disappointment for us and you know, particularly John Joe. But I think the most important thing is John Joe gets himself fit and gets back playing again. But, you know, we had a lot of conversations over the last number of weeks and they've been all positive. So I've no doubt, perhaps the next window, and if everything is fine with regards to injuries and what have you, we'll have John Joe Finn on board.
Sure. And just finally for me, can I clarify, like, what other players maybe would have made the cut if it weren't for injuries? Like, I know off the top of my head, I can think of Nathan Collins, Will Smallbone, Joe Hodge, or probably three. Is there anyone else that was maybe unlucky to miss out and would have been there were it not for an injury?
Will Smallbone, yeah, Nathan Collins, as you say, Joe Hodge, and Michael Obafemi. That's really it from the top of my head. But there's other players that didn't make the squad that will be disappointed, and rightly so, because they've been, they have been performing well. Like, you've got, a boy at Sheffield Wednesday, Alex Hunt, who's been doing well. And at home here, you had Brandon Kavanagh, who's had a really positive pre-season with Bray Wanderers. So, of course, you're going to get a lot of disappointment, but you also have to remember that our very first squad that got together against Luxembourg in the European campaign, before, like, Jason Knight wasn't in the squad, so now all of a sudden he's a senior player. So if you're not in this squad, for me, it's not about being disappointed. It's about, can you work as hard as you can that you make that breakthrough sooner rather than later.
Thanks, Jim.
No problem at all. Good to see you again.
You too.
Anybody else in the live section?
Yeah, Adam, if I can.
Emma, how are you?
How are you, Jim? How are you keeping? You all right?
Not too bad.
Yeah, listen, just want to get you to elaborate on that slightly about the pathway to the senior squad. Is that something that you're getting back from your conversations with players now, that the number of young players called into the squad over the last year or so, makes it easier for them to see how they could go through to senior honours?
I'd say to a couple of players when I'm talking to them on the phone that it's an opportunity now, for players to perform well at your club, and I think it's at the end of the day, if you're involved with a country that has a serious pool of players, if you're playing well with your club, there's a possibility you might get that international call-up. But with Ireland, I think there is a probability that at some stage, let's say if you're a striker, you're scoring goals, you will get a call-up. So, I think it's there and it's noticeable. It's for everybody to see that it's a strong pathway now, and Gavin Bazunu, getting into the senior squad, fantastic news. Absolutely fantastic. As so was Jason Knight, Jason Malumbi, Aaron Conley when he made the breakthrough. So, I think it's exciting. I have to say, I really do. And if you were to say to me now, for this campaign coming up, is there going to be more players? Possibly so, but again, they have to, at their club, they have to perform.
Yeah. Okay. And just on John Joe Finn as well, I mean, you're confident that he's going to be part of your squad for the qualifying campaign?
I'm confident that he'll be part of the squad. Yeah, as I said, I've spoken to his mom, I've spoken to John Joe. It was very, very unfortunate that he got a scan the day before yesterday, and he's been ruled out for the next 10 or 12 days training. But
what's the injury, Jim?
His ankle,
Okay.
ankle, as far as I know, and he's I was talking to his mom about it. His mom was like a typical mom. She was panicking and what have you, but look, he'll be fine. It's nothing serious. 10 days, she was told, and she obviously relayed that back to myself when I was having a chat with her.
Have you any specific hopes out of the Welsh game? Is there anything in particular that you're looking for?
For me, I think probably the most obvious outcome is how these players play at international level. And look, I know it's a friendly, but it is going to be a competitive game against Wales. We've still a lot of young players. We've a lot of 0-1s involved in this squad. Who could So they're playing up a year, you know. So it is going to be a challenge for them. All I can say is that they're talented footballers. They really are. They're all comfortable in possession of the ball. They all sort of meet the requirements of what we're looking for. They work hard. You've got at home our home base players, Dawson Devoy. For me, I thought last season he was fantastic. You know, I'm excited to work with him again in this campaign. So there's a lot of excitement there, but it's a hugely important window. And why? It's because, you know, we want to set down our goals. We want to sort of have that connection between the players, have that connection between the staff and the players. So it all starts on Monday when they arrive in.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Tim. Good luck with it.
Great stuff. Good seeing you again.
Cheers. Thanks.
Anyone else for the live section? John Hudson? You okay, John?
Yeah, Jim. Yeah, just on the summer end of it, Jim. The other years you play in the Toulon tournament. Have you anything in mind for the summertime?
Yeah, look, you know, I've said it before about the Toulon tournament, but what we'll do now is there's a tournament going to be laid on for us in Spain. We're going to go there. We're going to look to get away for roughly around 2 weeks together. And it just makes a lot more sense playing in this tournament in Spain against nations we hope. You know, we've got Hungary, Spain have been mentioned, but, you know, the finer details have to be drawn out with regards to that. But we'll be going ahead with this tournament in Spain. So it gives us around 14 days, 15 days together, and we'll get a hell of a lot of work done in that time to prepare us before the campaign starts in September.
Great. Yeah, that sounds very promising, and best of luck in Wales.
Thanks a million, John. Thanks a million.
Right, guys, if there's no more for the live section, we'll go on to the embargoed sections. I'm just going to quickly check and make sure